Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dugout Mug Studios. This is the 7th inning stretch.
All right, we are here with you. Took last Thursday off. What a miracle for us after 9 months. It felt like we took a Thursday off. We're back here, little off-season kind of talk as we kind of go into maybe a little hiatus here for a little bit until we hit December a little bit. We'll see what the free agency market does there for us. We'll get into that conversation. We'll get into a lot of different things here. I got, of course, some of what I love when this four is on together. We got Tyler McGurk, we got Logan Stone, we got Josh Edwards, and we're going to get into free agency talk. So, that's going to go in a lot of different directions. We got a lot to touch on. Logan Stone, real quick, though. Let's not make this a 9-minute thing. Are you over the Yankees? Are you over the Yankees now and the loss? Have you cut of the emotions, the tears? I think after I read the 2-page essay text you sent me the next day about it, I appreciated that, and it was good. And I just are you good? Have you come back to earth a little bit?
I once they started doing trades and baseball news, free agent stuff, it was like showering me with gifts and presents, and so I started giggling a little bit. I smiled for the first time.
And he said showering. I wasn't sure where we were going with this. So for a second, I like it.
Golden shower of love.
The shower of love with it. So I got the stuff down at the bottom. We'll get there, check out some of the updates here that are going top headlines as well. And MLB. I don't know, guys. The biggest headline, we got Gold Gloves we're going to get into as well, but free agency's here. That's kind of what we're about, right, Edward? We talked about that on the last show that we did as we headed into this one, that this was going to be this is kind of a different, fun part of the baseball season, right? It's like it kind of sets it all up. There's a lot of rumors, drama, all that good stuff that comes with it. And there's a lot of big names that are well. So we'll see kind of who shows up here. We got some underrated, some top ones for you, but I don't know. We'll go to McGurk here first. What's kind of your first thoughts when you see free agents here and what you got? Then we'll go to Edwards here.
Obviously Juan Soto comes to mind first, a big fish out of New York. And with my Giants hopefully getting involved, I doubt they'll come in second like they always do on these big free agents. They get used and abused. And then just who's going to add? What are the Dodgers going to do? They say Mookie Betts is coming to infield. They're the World Series champions. Do they get in the Soto thing? It's going to be it's always interesting.
It's going to be right. Edwards, I got some of the free agents here up here that are going, and we can get into if we want to play the game of where they're going. We're not going to predict anything, but we'll just kind of talk through them a little bit. But here's some of the names that we'd like to see that are available. So I don't know. What's your thoughts, Josh, when you see that's a very good crop of free agents here?
Yeah, you have the primo of you have the cream of the crop here, basically. And since we already covered Juan Soto, I want to see Christian Walker finish his career as an Arizona Diamondback. Personally, I like him. He plays really solid first base, way above average. He's got a really good bat, good eye. I like him there. I don't want to see him anywhere else, to be honest with you. I would like to see Paul Goldschmidt sign back with Arizona and end his career. And maybe be like their DH and their rotational first baseman.
That'd be interesting.
Walker, I think it'd be nice to see. So that's kind of where I'm looking right now is what I'm focusing on.
Yeah, that's a name that we had the guy from Arizona on earlier in the year. He brought him up a lot. I don't know, Logan. I don't know if Goldschmidt will accept just a DH job. It might be interesting. He's still would he be willing to DH 50 games and be 100 at first base? It'll be interesting what the chain effect, because everybody keeps saying that maybe that he ends up with the Cardinals, but then the Cardinals say they're going to reload. So for me, it's hard to predict that that's going to be the spot he ends up. But obviously that wouldn't be a bad spot for him. What do you think, Logan, of not off just that, but also free agency in general?
I don't see a world where any team would just say, listen, Goldie, you're a platinum, or not platinum, but you're a Gold Glove winner. You're one of the best first basemen out there. We're going to stick you at DH. I think that would be completely not utilizing all of his talent that he has. And DH DH is good. I think you're right. 50 games would be fine, but I think keeping him at first base would be what every team would want, because there's not many first basemen who are better than him, right?
He won the Gold Glove, as we'll get into later, so that obviously helps his value a little bit too.
Yeah, so he's one of the better fielding first basemen. So yeah,
What do
As
you make
for
of the rest of it, though?
free agents, there's a couple I like. I talked about this the other day. Max Fried, I kind of like for the Yankees. He's a good 3, I think, under Rodon and Cole. I think they need that. I think that would solidify. I don't think he would cost more than 20-25 million.
Man, will they be able to
That's
spend that much, though, Logan? Like, that's the thing with the Yankees when it comes to Soto for me. Like, I'm not hearing that they're going to spend on Soto and then get others. It sounds like they're not trying to max out like that. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong.
And there has been talks about them reworking some contracts to get some more money in.
Yeah.
I think there was someone talking to Judge, someone saying that Judge may rework his contract to be a little bit more team friendly, which which would probably be good. Anyways, but Max Fried, I think goes. I think Willie Adames goes to the Giants. I think there's no. I think that's. I think
there's a lot of rumor of him getting the Padres go. There's a lot of rumors of him getting the Padres guy.
Nah, I don't think so. I think the Giants are gonna. I'm sorry, not Josh Tyler, but they're gonna be stupid and they're gonna overpay him, and just to get him, and they do honestly need him. The Dodgers, they do. The Dodgers, I think their big get this offseason is going to be Roki Sasaki, big Japanese guy from Japan.
I'm hearing that too.
He is better than Yamamoto, which is kind of hard to believe sometimes because he was so touted. But someone was saying that unofficially there's a offer on the table for him, and I do have one sneaky pick. So
yeah, who do you got for the sneaky pick? Who you got for the sneaky pick?
So I have Randall Grichuk.
Okay. That talk about.
No, I was thinking a bigger name than that.
He did hit me over. He did 135 home runs what year for me on what? Hey,
let
me ask. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I was going to say was the teams to me that I am going to be looking for this offseason. You get some of these names that I have below here on the banner down there at the bottom. I'll get them up on the big screen here. So like some of those names, like the teams to me that jump out where I'm like immediately going to be like, okay, what are they doing? Like the Mets to me, because it's like Steve Cohen can outspend a lot of these teams. If he really wanted to, he could just drop the paycheck. So like there's like, oh, they'll get Alonso and Soto. I'm like, really? Both guys are going to be signing that? That's like $1 billion. Are they going to go Dodgers like that right then and there?
They
and
might have to.
They might, but and then like this, not to trade people.
They shouldn't.
I'm just curious because they always seem involved, and like Tyler's Giants, they always come up second. But on the American League side is the Blue Jays. I'm kind of interested what happened. Like, where do they go with some of the, like, do they make a run at Corbin Burns? Like, I'm just kind of trying to figure out what they do. And then the other team for me is the Orioles. Like, what are they going to do? Are they going to go big? Like, they have a team, right? We talked about that last year. They made weird trades at the deadline, right, Edwards? We weren't like huge fans of like, we liked them, but we thought they needed more. And so I'm curious, do they trade, or is it all going to be through the trade market for them? Like, is that where they're going to get? Who was it saying? You said Ryan Hesley or from the Cardinals, right? So you thought that might be available there. So I don't know. I am also curious, Doug, in your Reds, and the Reds were the other team I have on the list. Is what do they do as well with Francona as the manager? Do they sit pat? Do they make any moves in a division that can be winnable if they make the right moves there? So, and they got the pitching for it. So those teams, right to me. I don't know, Tyler, any of those teams or something else? Any other teams jump out to you?
I mean, I think the Orioles are interesting. They also have to can they bring back Santander from the outfield? He was a big part of their lineup. Like, they lose him, they got to go some outfielder, and won't be as productive. I don't know. The Orioles seem to be in a tough spot to me. Like, they have great talent, but they're losing Burns most likely. They're probably going to lose I can't say the dang guy's name. Santander.
It's better than I would do.
Anthony Santander and Bird, like I'm really interested to see who they add because they're going to be losing a lot of payroll as well.
Jordan Maxon, I will send it to you. You want to jump on Fat Boy? Let's do it. Or on Talk It. We'll see you there Sunday. I'll send you the link. You bet. I got you. We're locked in with it. Tony Taters. Yes, we always got the Tony Taters. Yes, and your Bengals are winning. Susie, we're not. This is the World Football comment. Only one we're making. Promise. Tony Taters with it as well. Tony Kemp, is that who you're referring to? Tony Kemp, is he back in?
Yeah. I thought she was talking about Tony Kemp whenever she first started talking about him. I can't remember who it was.
What do you guys think, Logan or Josh, on what's the team that snuck into the playoffs? What's that one that snuck in? Had no right, but in the past they've spent a lot of money at times. The Detroit Tigers. Will they make any splash moves? Like they have Scooble. Do they get somebody there? I know everybody's like, no, they won't do it, but that franchise has oddly made big moves at times. So I'm curious. It's not like they have a high payroll at this point. I think there's a world that maybe I'd be curious what they do too. So and I guess you could add the Royals to that too. But what do you think, Edwards?
So that's where I was going to go. The Royals. What are the Royals going to do? But in regards to Detroit, you're very correct. I mean, they could go out and say we're going to go pay to fill in the holes we need to be competitive because we just saw what we could do with what we had after we traded off every asset we had at the end of the season, minus Crochet. So I could see them going and spending money. Do I think they're going to go do it? No.
Different question there. Yeah.
Because, here, let me rephrase this. I think it only happens if the Royals go make big moves. If Cleveland goes and makes another big move. If Minnesota goes and tries to pick up a couple, I think Detroit's going to feel like they have to right now. I think they could wait one more year and see what the next season is like. And what free agents are going to be available and what happens at the trade deadline in the middle of this year. That's the way I would go if I was Detroit. But if KC goes and picks up a couple big names, and then Minnesota picks up a big name, and everybody, then at that point you got to go get something just to be competitive, based on how you ended the season this year. Because you can't end the way you ended this year and then go lose 100 games next season.
Nah, that'll be, and then you can't go back and. I mean, Logan, you have thoughts on that too, but I this from just throwing out to all of you. Once you go, is the Astros, Susie's Astros, and the Mariners are also in like and then the team that's like kind of feels like they're hidden back there, where it's like I feel like it's me and Tyler again in like the late '90s, early 2000s with this team is like I feel like they're maybe gonna make a push like free agency wise and just go crazy. Is the Red Sox? I'm trying to figure out like occasionally like the Red Sox would be like, all right, we're in now, we're going all in after guys, and then they would back out and then go all in again. And like, so those, I don't know, those three teams to me, like when I see these names, I'm like, I don't know, it'll be interesting what the Astros do with Bregman and Logan. I mean, he's been part of their whole team. Like, it's hard to imagine him on another team.
Yeah. With Bregman, that's going to be a big what if. There's going to be a lot of teams that want him. Mets probably. See, this is what I think about.
Don't they have what's the one guy Vientos that had a great year last year at third base? That's why I would. That's the only. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I'm trying to like. He's a weird one.
Did say he was willing to move to second base, just like this. So I don't know if he's looking to move. Like, and that makes me think he not wants out of Houston, but he sees himself leaving if he's like saying, "Oh, I can play a position that's already occupied by Jose Altuve."
I'll take Altuve's job.
I don't know. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Yeah, that's what Susie. Yeah, that's a good.
Bregman.
I don't know. Bregman's an interesting one for you. You said to the Yankees. You thought for the Yankees for a while, right? For him.
Yeah, I did, but I really do think Arenado. They need Arenado. Yeah, I do. I do think this is why I wanted the Yankees to sign Grichuk was because of their defensive needs. Grichuk is good with power, and he's got good defense. And
he's talking about defense.
Oh, stop it! Yeah, there's a difference. As you heard what I said on that text, I said there's a big difference between needing defense and then building your whole system around frickin' defense, where you make me want to choke on defense. Anyways, right? But my thing about the Mets is, I don't think they should go out and get Juan Soto, honestly. Juan Soto is going to cost you $50 million a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he will.
That 50, maybe 50, 55. Stop that, Susie. Don't start with me.
Uh,
But anyways, but I think that they're doing this thing that they did a couple years ago where they overpaid for Verlander, they overpaid for Scherzer, and they overpaid for all these other guys. They overpaid Brandon freaking Nimmo, which I still hate to this day, and they pay him like he was A-Rod. But they're overpaying for these players who are just mediocre. Now, I'm not saying Juan Soto is mediocre. I'm saying he's great. But I also think that you can't build a team that is mediocre around a great player and expect success. You gotta actually fill the voids before you just go out for the big fish. If they had better players sitting around, now I think they could re-sign Pete Alonso easily.
Yeah, they could.
I kind of like Pete Alonso for the Diamondbacks, honestly.
No, they're not signing him. I would be.
They were checking in on Juan Soto.
Well, so the Rays were checking in on.
Well, yeah.
I said the Rays are checking in on. I was like, well, the A's might as well throw it. Hey, Juan Soto, come play in Sacramento. Come on, let's go. No,
there's no way that the Diamondbacks are going to get Juan Soto, but they are acting like they want to spend money, and so that tells me I think they will. I think they would say, "Oh, we can definitely pay Pete Alonso for 30 million a year, 35 million a year for 10 plus years, 9 years."
I think Juan Soto is a great fit in New York. I mean, they were just in the NLCS, NLD.
Yep.
Like, this isn't just a regular guy. There's a superstar who's gonna you got to fill the holes, and I agree with you. You can't have big holes where it's an automatic out. But you're adding Juan Soto. It's a sure thing. It's not like he's gonna miss. Maybe the last couple years of the contract it gets a little ugly, but the first 7, you're set. He's gonna be a great player. So I'd always say.
My thing is that they're already paying $250 million a year in payroll, and then you're going to add 300 on Soto, and then Soto's not going to be he's not going to save everything. You got to get other people instead of Soto on top of that. So you're going from a 250 to a 310. And then you're going to have to add more payroll to that. It's going to end up being a $350 million. And I know Steve Cohen likes to say, "Oh, we're going to pay $1 billion a year if we need to get a World Series." He says that, but I mean, he pays it to the wrong guys. That's not going to be useful.
Do you think, on that note, with Susie, real quick, I want to know from you, real quick, Bregman and Verlander, are they both coming back to Houston? I want you please, if you're still here, let me know. I want to get your vibes on that one. Where do you see those two? And with Susie, is it Bregman, Verlander? Those are kind of ones I want to figure out with you. Okay, Soto though. Okay, you brought it up. Let's go there with him just for a second on it. So, you hear these rumors of the Rays title. No, they're not going anywhere. You hear these rumors of Rays and these bullcrap teams that are just not going to happen. So I'm making a list. I think it's the Yankees. They're available. The Mets, they'll make an offer. Excuse me. Giants, they might make an offer. Red Sox, they might Cubs, and then the Blue Jays are the other team. I think
the Dodgers are in there too,
and the Dodgers. Yep, sorry, I didn't put that in there. Dodgers are on there. Dodgers should always be in there with everything. So you have those teams in there. Am I leaving a team off? I mean, I know there's other ones, but the Braves, I can't see them going out of pocket like that. They usually never go like that over to a crazy contract like that ever. I mean, these to me are where he's going to end up. Those are the 7 teams that, unless somebody surprises me, I don't see. The Red Sox I got in there. I don't see any other spot. Yeah, I mean, the Tigers would be if this was 15 years ago, I would be like, well, but I don't see that anymore. So, I mean, Yankees, Mets, Giants, Red Sox, Cubs, Blue Jays, Dodgers. I don't see the Padres making that move again to get him. So, I don't know. What do you think, Tia? You got a thought there?
Do people not learn their lesson? And he goes to Anaheim to ruin the rest of his career. So you go to Anaheim. No, I think you're right. I can't think of another team outside of, you brought him up and said no, is Atlanta. They sometimes Not very often, but it's not like they'll bring in like a Gary Sheffield. It wasn't a free. It's not like the same deals they were making then, but like they'll bring in a superstar talent for like a Rena thing, and then trade them off later. Will they get them? No, but I think they have to include them.
Seattle might make a push. They kind of need a guy.
Do you think they will? Like they keep saying they're not going to go. They're not going to go out of pocket, and that's another weird team to me. It's like I feel like that Robinson Cano trade or signing is like where they bid like $70 million against themselves. Like it's just like with a weird deal that kind of set them back financially. It feels like for a while they had like one of the healthiest pitching staffs. I mean, the Dodgers would have loved to have a stat like stay healthy or something like that whole time.
Any team in the MLB would have been happy to have been that healthy.
And they couldn't.
Didn't Seattle just have a big controversy about them holding a player back because they didn't want to pay $1 million?
Yeah,
like, they're not bringing in Juan Soto for $450 million.
They've always been a cheap, right? Like I mean, they didn't keep Griffey, they didn't keep A-Rod, they didn't keep Johnson. The Ichiro was an interesting deal, signing him for a great deal for them at a price at the time they got him back in the day. Like they don't keep their guys like that. Is like this type of guy, they don't keep that contract. So. I agree. I think Seattle would be an interesting spot, but I just don't see them.
I don't know if he's going to.
Angels. Soler and Soto, what a combination together.
Honestly, the reason, like the reason why Tyler is, I mean, the way that Tyler is making that joke is exactly why no one is going to sign with, no good player is going to sign with the Angels anymore. I mean. Kyle Hendricks, he signed with the Angels because he's 110 years old and he throws
still wants to get
70
paid.
miles an hour fastball. So
yeah, that probably helped with that.
But I think Susie is really. No, I know what you're saying, but I just mean there's the laughing stock right now, and
exactly.
No one will.
But they used to do that.
No player will ever sign with them again.
They did say that they're going to limit Rendon's playing time a little bit. That's smart.
Well, not if he limits it first.
Another big sign.
How much more can they limit him? Hey, real quick, in regards to Seattle, I want to throw a name out there and just tell me if this name, this type of player, would you think would be in Seattle? Josh Bell.
They need a first baseman.
Or DH even with him. Yeah, I think that would be. I think that's the type of bat. Like that's the type of bat I see them getting. It's not going to be.
But will they spend that kind of money? We're talking.
Yeah, I think they could spend
14 to 17 million.
Oh, think he'll get that much.
He's not going to cost that much.
He's going to get about
maybe 8 million, 10 million.
Right now his previous AAV, was 16.5.
Man,
yeah, but
his market value.
Baseball players don't take pay cuts.
You're right. Well, market value, and I didn't look at this first before I said that, so I'm going to look stupid. Is 5.2.
Yeah,
that's so 10.
That's a big gap there. I don't know if he takes that big of a gap. I guess 8 would be reasonable.
Yeah, him or Ty France. The Mariners though, Josh, they are a weird
Ty France.
No. But compared to you get more production out of him than Ty France. They traded Ty France, right? Didn't they trade him?
Yeah, but he's a free agent now.
He is a little bit. He is a free agent too for trade. And I thought, and the other one too for me is I'm hearing rumors. I'm curious what will happen with Devin Williams. I know these are trade guys, but I'm curious if the Brewers will unload him or will they wait till the deadline? I don't think they should. I think they need to let it play out and see where you're at the All-Star break or whatever. But then the A's come out and they say they're keeping Rooker. I mean, of course you're going to Sutter Health Stadium. You better keep some power so you're going there. I doubt, but they say they're keeping. That kind of surprised me. Then the Blue Jays sound offended that people are still asking for Bichette. So there are still kind of rumors circulating with these teams. So it'll be curious when those names come deadline time. But I don't see them moving those names moving in the offseason. So those are just a couple
Kevin
names.
Williams is a trade deadline piece. I mean,
yeah, he's a great.
How much they spend on, how much we've seen players go at the deadline. The cost just goes up so much, and everyone needs relief help at the deadline.
Can I throw out another name?
Yeah, please.
Because it's one of Logan's favorite players. And I bet just me saying that he can guess what I'm going to say.
Yadier Molina.
I don't know. I said Trey Turner in my head right then. So
Shane Bieber.
Yeah.
Where
He's
does
a
he end up,
Bieber.
Logan?
Huh?
Where does he end up?
Rangers.
The Rangers are a weird team too. The Rangers are. This is the Bochy every other year magic. Is this the year they kind of bounce back a little bit? The Seagers stay healthy. Like the pitching staff was an absolute disaster with health wise last year. I have my massive doubts with the pitching staff, but I can see them kind of going out and signing like Walker Buehler, or like maybe like I don't know, or gosh, who's the home run derby winner? Teoscar Hernandez. Like I could see them. I could see them going after some bigger names like that. Probably not Hernandez. Probably more on the pitching side, but I would say keep them open for Corbin Burns as well. The Rangers. I can see them making an offer as well because they're going to lose Scherzer.
Rangers are slashing payroll. They were slashing payroll because they were always worried about the Bally Sports stuff, but now I think MLB has signed the.
Yep.
Is every team doing the DraftKings or the FanDuel?
No, there's only 3 teams.
Or is it just the Cardinals? Okay.
It's the Cardinals, the Braves, and
Anyway,
I can't remember the other one.
They're slashing payroll, but it's still. I'm not saying it's going to be like they won't be able to get Hernandez and this. I'm just thinking like Burns might be a little out of the question, but there are like guys that I could see them kind of just plugging in a little bit because they'll get rid of some money too. I think so. I'll be curious what they end up doing.
Are you thinking like Luis Seravino?
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking even maybe a little better than that too. I think there's a chance that they could get like I said, Walker Buehler or a Jack Flaherty. Like I think there's a chance that they.
Well, the better pitcher we haven't mentioned yet
is
the Rangers.
Blake Snell.
I can see him.
Yeah,
Bruce Bochy.
He's not going back to your Giants. He's not going back there. He said
the Giants. The Giants. They don't sign pitchers.
No,
unless they're like
Buster
1 year
Posey now.
rentals and they get a hell of a
Posey now. Buster Posey's in charge now, Tyler. This is a different era. This isn't far on.
I mean, the Giants should be one of the most interesting teams in this offseason. Like, they have a ton of payroll. They have a new GM who wants to make a splash, and there's guys to do it. Well, I think they'll get, you said, the guy from Diego. They'll have the 2 Koreans at the top of the order, and the center fielder, shortstop, like Jung Hoo Lee and Hae-Sung Kim. And I think that's going to be their marketing thing.
They're gonna sign him.
I don't know. It seems like a Giants offseason.
Not Willie Adames.
I got one. I got Mark Hanna to the Braves.
Not to your Mark Canna. Canna's a can of corn. He feels like he's going to be playing for the next 8 years randomly. He just seems like he's going to be one of those guys that like somehow survives, like just left-handed. He won't be 8 years, but you get my point. He's just going to be out there, facing lefties for a while. And it'll be interesting where Canna goes. There's a few names out there that I know aren't as top, but as I'm looking through the list, there's some intriguing names. Like I said with the Dodgers, Kiki Hernandez. Do they sign him? Do they keep those names around as well? So we'll see. There's a few
Suarez end up back in New York.
Is he a free agent?
Yep.
Who?
Gleyber Torres.
No, I think I could see him in see him being Seattle's big move, or the Diamondbacks' big move.
Yeah, I don't think they're signing Gleyber Torres again.
If I just pick a Yankees that like maybe would rebound, where I'm like, hold on, this guy. Wait, can Hanna sign with the Giants? Yeah, did he sign with them? Is this breaking news? We'll have to look into it. Tyler, did you hear?
He was on the Giants last year. I don't know if they re-signed him.
I don't think they re-signed him. I would have known, and I would have screamed at the skies.
You would have loved it. I'm curious for Clay Holmes if he can regain himself. That's a weird name for me. Like somebody get him on a low. So.
Just getting my little love America.
Are you? Did you click that link that Logan sent you? Did you click? Is that what you're on right now?
I was looking for Mark Hanna news. I don't see anything.
She was happy about it. What do you, Logan? You said you had a thought there.
I think Patrick Corbin signs a 10-year, $350 million contract with the Cardinals.
They're not giving out any money this year, so we gotta worry about that.
No, but he's always wanted to be a Cardinal. They love it.
He sucks.
They love it whenever players always wanted to be a Cardinal.
He sucks.
Lucky sweeper.
Lefty
So
sweeper.
this is the
Deep.
contract they wanted to give him like 8 years ago, but never got a chance. So they just decided because they already wrote the check and he accepted another offer, so they didn't want to rip it up because that costs money, and so
I got a couple.
sense.
I got a couple free agent things here, then we'll move on to Gold Gloves. But I got so the other teams we didn't really focus on. I think like is the Phillies and the Guardians because they both won their division. So those are teams like we know the Guardians aren't spending $100 million. I know that's not happening. But I'm always curious through trades, free agency, like how are these teams gonna like kind of navigate that a little bit? So I those are some that like as we kind of focus on some teams that have won the division, that kind of thing. We'll see where the Guardians go with that, and then we'll see where the Phillies end up with that. The Phillies could be out. That's a very intriguing team too this offseason. Like, there's a lot of fans out there that are like, we made the World Series, then we lost in the NLCS, then we lost in the NLDS. So like, they're like, yeah. So you're starting to hear that a little bit. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with those guys.
Jock Peterson could go to the
Big
Guardians.
Big Jock go there.
Jock.
Trade wise, I keep hearing Garrett might end up with the Red Sox. It sounds like this guy is the White Sox aren't holding on to this guy, right? Can we all admit he's going to be gone this offseason, or do you think he's going to be gone? All right.
He shouldn't.
Especially if he says something stupid again like that.
Yeah, do you think he ends up with the Red Sox? Is that the best spot?
I think it'd be fun.
I think the Red Sox. Oh,
be funny.
I think the Red Sox are in one of the better positions to get him.
Yeah, I think they're in good. It sounds like the rumors are, Logan, they're going to trade for everybody, the Red Sox. That's the rumor out there. They're in on everybody. That's always the Red Sox driving the price up, the agents. The same thing with the Cubs back in the day. Oh, that just drives it's like these same rumors every time. So it'll be interesting where he ends up along the way. Does this guy, does he end up anywhere? So, Tyler, real quick, Blake Snell, back to him real quick. Where does he end up if he's not a Giant then? Because he's a very mystery pitcher to me. He's a mystery pitcher to me. He's an ace. He is. But he's odd at times with an ace. Like, he doesn't feel like he's a 3-time Cy or a 2-time Cy Young. And I don't know. Like, there's something like it just – I don't know. Something about it.
You're not giving your bullpen a rest when he pitches. Like, it's not like a rest day for the bullpen like with other aces. Like, okay, he can go out and go 7. Like, he's not getting past 5 90% of the time. So he has, like, this unhittable 5 innings most of the time. Not all the time. He gets lit up occasionally, but he has this nasty stuff for 5 innings. So I don't know where he ends up. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the Dodgers. He's been everywhere else in the NL West. He's not going to Arizona or Colorado. I could see him on the Dodgers. Dodgers love to stick it to the Giants, and it'd just be a perfect opportunity for them to have their pitching staff, which they always use, and then screw the Giants.
Man, that would be – Blake Snell's going to be in it. And another thing that we kind of – we'll probably march on to this as we move on through free agency is it'll be interesting if it's going to be another year, Edwards, where these guys sign in March. I think teams are kind of over that feeling a little bit. Yeah. So it will be curious how that ends up here.
I think the day of that is dead.
You think he ends up with the Cubs?
I think anybody.
Oh, no.
With the Cubs, man.
Snell to the Cubs?
Oh, sorry. No. I was thinking about talking about the Cubs, but I forgot we were still on Snell.
Well, the Cubs, I had one as the team for Soto too, so you could go to the Cubs with both that stuff. You think I don't know. The Cubs,
they're not getting Soto.
I can't get a read on the Cubs what they're doing.
Like, I don't think Snell goes to the Yankees anymore. I don't think the Yankees. I think that time is come and gone, and that's a shame.
Well, they can't afford to because of Rondon.
Well,
excuse me.
Well, they need him they need Soto.
You can't have all that money tied up in 2 pitchers, and one of them can't stay healthy.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Effectively.
Yeah.
That's why I said I don't think the Yankees will sign him. But I think the Mets could use him. They need an ace. Other than that, I mean, I think maybe the Astros.
Who was the guy that got traded to Seattle last year in the offseason? He kind of had a down year. He was from the Twins. Polanco. He's kind of he's one of those players that does he bounce back as well? Yeah, Jorge Polanco. Justin Turner, does he stay on with another team? So there's some And then one of the more intriguing names to me that because he's won a couple posts is Evaldi. I'm just kind of like these are names that as you're deep into the game and there's guys that throw hard. Like these are names that come up, so it'll be interesting where they land. I could see Evaldi in Houston.
Yeah.
Well,
Max Scherzer,
Tigers would be good.
Do Max Scherzer and Verlander go back to Detroit? Is that the story? Do they bring back the 40-year-olds for the good old times, Tyler? Do they bring them back?
It'd be killer.
We're bring them back right there. Joe Nathan,
and
come
Prince
out.
Fielder jumps out, and he's like 550 pounds.
Miguel Cabrera's back, baby. Yeah, they got him all right there. All right, so that's good free agency talks there, guys. You guys got any final thoughts on it before we move to the Gold Glove winners? Any final thoughts around the horn here?
Who will the Royals go get to compliment Bobby Wood Jr.?
No,
we didn't get to talk about this earlier.
No.
It
can be a Josh Bell if anybody. Corbin Burns spending that money.
I'm kidding.
Hernandez would be my guess. Like maybe would they even go to that much money? I doubt it.
I don't know. I'm not sure. They've got the money wrapped up in wit. They showed that they can, hang.
They're cheap, man. They don't.
Can they trade for Crochet?
Yeah, they could do that.
I think Teoscar Hernandez goes back to the Dodgers, right?
So do I.
Yeah, they need an outfielder.
Seems like the year after he had there, I don't see why you'd want to move on from him. He's such a professional hitter, though. That guy, I would give him on a lineup. But I mean, that was the thing that made their lineup so stupid last year. It's like, oh, we got 3 MVPs, and then we have this like beyond professional hitter and Hernandez behind. Like that. I mean, it shows up in the World Series like it means nothing. So that's a good call there. It will be interesting what the Royals do, Josh. I agree. That will be one of the teams I'll be monitoring there. I don't know who they can.
You know what?
There. What?
Walker Buehler to the not Dodgers, Blue Jays might be good.
The Blue Jays, to me, they're a weird team to me. I'm trying to figure out what they're doing. Like they always try to step, but they come in second. They come in second, like Tyler's Giants, a lot with this stuff.
They're the Canadian version of the Giants.
We could say that they're the Canadian.
Why are there so many versions of the Giants and none of them win?
Yeah. You need some winning versions.
The version of the Giants.
The version of the Giants.
Got to get back to it real quick. So any final thoughts there, Logan? Do we final thought? I'll move on to Google Gloves here.
No. That's the. I really don't see the Blue Jays buying. I think the Cubs are going to be sneaky buyers, but I always say that, and I hate that. I want to be a Cubs fan so bad, but I don't think the Blue.
That's from Yankees to Cubs.
No, I like them all, but
this guy does it all.
I think the Blue Jays are actually going to sell. I think Kevin Gausman's days are numbered. I think
back to the Giants.
I think Guerrero possibly. Nah, he's going to be a deadline piece, but
there's talk he might go to third base.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, they're going to get rid of him.
Why would you want to play third over first? I wouldn't. I mean, why do you want him to get hurt at third? Like, play him at first base. What are you doing? I mean, like, what are we moving him around for? Right? If you're going to trade him anyways, what are we moving for him at that point?
That
doesn't make any sense.
Say, hey, he can play anywhere, and once he plays third baseman, he's no longer our problem.
Couldn't move him. I don't know. I wouldn't want him at third. I'd want to just keep him at first base. Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Hey, he doesn't even play a good first base. Why are they going to move him there?
Yeah, I don't see. Did you all see the clip of Teo saying he loved Boston on Ben Verlinder's podcast? I did not see that. Teo's trying to bring up the price. He's smart over there. He knows what he's doing. He's trying to. Oh yeah, what an atmosphere! I love it. Am I crack? Who am I thinking?
I think he also said he loved Houston.
What does it thought side with the Giants? There was somebody. Wait, I thought Canada side with the Giants. Last season, am I on crack? Okay, no, I'm thinking of who am I thinking of the Giants? Giants signed a lot of people last year to random. They signed a lot of dogs a 1 year deal. Is it was it Bader? Maybe Harrison Bader. He went to the Yankees.
The Giants haven't signed anybody.
Giants don't sign anybody. He loved Boston. I'm really Well, what a city this one is. Yeah, we're gonna get a lot of that this year. We're gonna get a lot of that. We love that town right there.
Also, Ben Verlander
Big Poppy's really selling in Boston.
The guy we really care to listen to.
No, you listen to Seventh Inning Stretch. You listen to this show, right? This is the show that gives you the baseball information. We get Susie chiming in here as well. This is where we're hardcore baseball fans. Like I said, a lot of stuff. He wanted to go to Boston and they wouldn't give him. And next year, the Dodgers gave him more money. The Red Sox also are known for being just a little cheap at the end to get the job done. That's the reason they hated the Yankees for a billion years. The Red Sox were known for just coming up, as they say, a little short there. All right, hey, so Gold Glove, I won't go crazy with it since we spent a lot of time free agency. I want to get the Diamond Notes a little bit more, but just wanted to let you guys know that we had 14 first-time winners along the deal there. Tyler, your guy, Patrick Bailey won it at catcher. Bregman won it at third, which probably helps his value a little bit. Stephen Kwan won it there for the D-backs. So then we had the utility position that came out for the first year. Dylan Moore in the AL won it there. Christian Walker, which will help him first base. He gets the job done. Terang, glad to see him win it at second base. Little controversy. Mets fans were not happy with Tavar winning it. They actually were really pissed. Lindor wasn't even in the top three, so they had that there with it. Then your guy Matt Chapman, you doubled up there, Tyler, with the Gold Glove winners there. So those are some of the names there with it. Not the sexiest group over history, a period of time, but a couple of names there. Chapman's kind of the one that sticks out to me. That will probably be on the list for a few more years. So I don't know. Do you think Bailey's going to be on this list all the time now, Tyler, moving forward for the next decade?
I mean, at least
do you believe in him in that much of a defender? I guess that's the question.
Oh yeah, as a defender. I mean, he doesn't block balls the best, but his throwing ability is just like it's leaps and bounds above the next best player. Like I think he's going to win at least the next 3 years. And if there's somebody younger who's coming up that isn't up yet, I'd be shocked if they're as good as him at defense.
His throwing ability is kind of one of
his throwing's unbelievable.
I mean, Carlos Santana winning it at 38 was kind of funny to me. He was the only players that win their first Gold Glove are both pitchers that old. Phil Niekro won it at 39 years old, 1978. Good old R.A. Dickey won it at 38 years in 2013, and then you have Santana beat out Newcastle there for the Orioles. So that was kind of the one that stood out to me the most. When I was like Santana, even when we brought it up at the beginning, I was like, he won at 38. So I wasn't wrong in the sense of that was kind of caught my attention.
Never won a Gold Glove.
Well, he was the third. No, saying he was the third oldest to win it.
Oh, okay.
He was the third oldest player to win.
Young.
Yeah, he won it at first base, not catcher. He might have won it when he's younger.
Wasn't he a bad defender back in the day?
He
got moved to first because I don't think he was a very good catcher.
He was a really good catcher at first. Or wait, he was a really good catcher.
Defensive catcher?
Yeah.
It's funny I put it Carlos Santana, but I always get the guitar.
But then his knees gave out because he was fatter than.
No, he's only won one Gold Glove, so he's a one-time Gold Glove winner. So that was this year. So he's not he never won as a catcher before. So so I thought that was kind of interesting looking at some of the first-time winners with the Gold Glove winners there with it. Diamond Notes part of the show here. What do you guys think, Contreras? I got his switching positions for the Cardinals. I think it's a good move on their part. I think they'll get more value from him come deadline. I think it will save his needs a little bit. There's thoughts that Trout might not go. Like the Angels want to DH him or don't want to DH him more. They want to maybe still keep him in the outfield. I'm like, no, you talk to Mike and you say you're playing 100. You're playing 100 games in the outfield. You're DHing 62. Like that's what you're doing. Your bat needs to be in the order. So you got some of that. We got Betts moving to second base as well. And then a legend, Bob, is calling it quits there. So a couple of Diamond Notes there along the way. I got a few different ones at the bottom as well. So I don't know. What kind of stands out to you, Tyler? There, we're gonna go to the Cardinals guys here.
Oh gosh, don't start with Tyler.
I mean, it's obviously it's in the Dodgers being a Giants fan, so we can have an eye on him, and like the fact that he's the best right fielder in baseball for 10 years. Yeah. Especially defensively, and then just to move to second base and shortstop, it's unheard of. Like, who's done this? Like, Biggio went from catcher to second to center. I think, or center. He did a little thing like that, but
yeah, Biggio was. You're
recently,
right.
I can't think of like a Gold Glove outfielder moving to second base or shortstop.
Biggio, you're right. He's forgotten that. I always forget about him as one of those guys. Doug Mankiewicz, did he play? Did Doug make it ever? Did Doug ever make there? What do you make of Contreras there, Logan? You think that's a good move by the Cardinals?
It's whatever.
I think it's a good move. They're going to get.
Why would it?
He's not going to be part of the rebuilding thing. He's not. I mean, he is a good he's good at throwing the ball, but he's not like an accurate thrower all the time with it. Like he is known for picking guys off back in the day.
Best catcher on the team.
Really, I get that. And Cardinals,
that's not a big statement in St. Louis right now.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's not like he's got. It's not like the Braves when they had Sean Murphy as a backup, and Travis d'Arnaud. Like, where do I go when he's still hitting?
By the way, he should go to Houston, like you said, on that one. I just think Contreras, Logan, is for me, and you guys can. I looked at this. I looked at it. I'm listening like some shows on it, and I'm like, all right, I feel like he's always been a good bat. So you want his bat in the order, and like. If you are actually rebuilding, like I don't see him being part of it. So if you could get assets for him in the middle of the year and you make him more valuable by playing DH in the sense he stays healthier, and he's not a unreal catcher. He's a good catcher. He's a good one. He really is, but he's not unreal at it. His bat is the main thing. I don't know. I think it's the smart move. I think it's the right move.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I guess from an aspect of he won't get injured, sure. But, I mean, you had Jordan Walker, Alec Burleson. Who was the other guy, Josh?
Lucan Baker, who's had the most home runs in the minors.
Is that a real name?
Of any team in the last 3 seasons. He's
Rowan Gardner.
He's done all this stuff. And all this bull crap. I mean, they paid the guy. Do you know how much in the last 2 years, how many months they've actually given Wilson Contreras the catching position? In the last 2 years as a Cardinal, they've given him 0 months as the actual catcher of the St. Louis Cardinals. 0 months where he has been consistently the catcher. There has been this last year, it's been a whole circus act because they like Pages because he moves the ball around and he can control the pitchers, which is bullcrap because he's got a noodle arm that makes my grandma looks like freaking Yadier Molina. Anyways, Pedro Pages sucks monkey balls. I mean, good Lord. He's fatter. Ollie Marmol just has to bowl him over to home plate so that way he doesn't have to strain his legs. I mean, he's so freaking stupid. And Herrera, he's good. I mean, I wouldn't mind having him as a backup, but for some reason they want to botch his development so much. And the whole Wilson Contreras, you signed him as a freaking catcher. If you wanted to sign a catcher who wasn't going to catch for you, why sign him? Why did I have to listen to Josh bitch and moan for the last 2 years about how he wasn't a catcher? And I mean, if you wanted to sign a catcher to replace Yadier Molina, why bother going through this whole charade when you never gave him a chance? Why not go get Trey Turner? Why didn't you go get an outfielder? Why didn't you go get a pitcher? But you had to spend $20 million on a catcher that you sit on the bench to twiddle his thumbs all the time. And now he's getting jerked around. Oh, well, he's going to play DH now. Oh, well, now he's catcher. No, wait, we got to pull him out. Wait. Okay, now he's going to be a first baseman. And it's just like, what is even this crap? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I don't care.
I disagree.
The Cardinals suck. I'm a Cubs fan.
I completely disagree with you on some of that stuff. I know you're deep in it. I know you know the Cardinals better than me, but I think there's a reason some of the teams didn't sign him to that deal because they didn't want him to be their catcher. I think that's like part of the reason the Cardinals maybe got desperate with that. But I think his bat is too valuable in that regard. Tyler, I know Josh is going to have more thought on it, so you got a quick thought on it before I get to Josh here on it?
I just prefer Logan's passion towards the Cardinals more than his loyalty to the Yankees. I enjoy that version of Logan much more.
Edwards, I think it's a good. I think it's a good move to make him a DH. I think this is the smart decision. But I was listening to some podcasts. I was like, yep, that's exactly how Cardinals fans are because I've always thought this way with you guys. And Edwards, you are exactly what this guy was saying. You guys have this like Cardinals fans have this weird appreciation towards the catcher position, possibly because of Molina, but you've always had like you had Matheny there for years.
We've always had good catchers.
So you guys
Always.
are like extra sensitive, I feel like, to this position a little bit. Like I just feel like because me as a fan base, I'm like, all right, fine, who cares? Catcher for 100 games that I get him for like 60.
They do get weird about their catches.
You guys seem a little odd
Who's the
about
catcher for Matheny, like
Eli
Tom
Marrero.
Pagnazzi, Eli Marrero, and then it was Eli
Marrero.
Marrero,
Love
then
Eli Marrero.
somebody, then Pags.
Is that his name, Eli Marrero? I pulled that one out of my brain.
Yeah.
That was a
Pulled
good
that
memory
one
there
out.
because I couldn't remember.
You
his
were
name.
playing. You were playing King Griffey Slugfest, weren't you?
Yeah, it's
I
like just,
definitely was playing a little.
we
A
did
lot of
those
video
franchise.
games,
We did those franchise modes too many times, Tyler. That was
Yeah, right. You
Gary
lied, Marrero.
Gary Gaetti.
Take a deep breath.
that's funny.
We had
Anyway,
plenty of
sorry.
catchers
Susie's
on the
like,
roster, but we
King
always had a
Griffey's
top tier
slugfest.
catcher.
Yeah. So,
So-
what do you make of it, Josh?
So I blame, and Logan, the whole sit down in your seat and don't pass out. I blame Yadier Molina.
Oh, Yachty getting a little thrown on them. I wasn't expecting that on tonight's show.
And I love Yachty, all love in the world. I saw you got the coach against Albert the other night. I'm sure that was awesome. But Yachty endorsed Wilson. He told Cardinals fans he would get the job done. What happened here was our pitching staffs have never been stacked deep, loaded, just absolute killers. But we always had catchers who made our pitchers better. And so we're so used to having that high quality catcher that it covers for a lot of other deficiencies, errors, and mistakes that happen in the field or in the course of a game. Sometimes things that just your average baseball fan won't even notice. It'll be guys like us would notice things.
Damn Cardinals fans will notice that thing. That's what we're saying.
Absolutely, yeah. People who are deep into it. So
Damn
I think, last year was really rough. Wilson got a really bad shake of everything.
the broken hand.
23 season. And then this year he gets the injury, and it was a dumpster fire. So I think they are protecting him. I would not put him at first. I would just DH him.
That's what I think.
And
Just
I
DH
would-
him.
But they're going to put him at first because they want to get their value out of him because they're paying him $18 million a year. But I would DH him and trade him as quickly as I could. As soon as his back got hot, I would look for a trade partner and get rid of him because I would put Jordan Walker at first base and put that 6'6", 6'8" beast there. Keep him from having to run around in the outfield. Let him learn to play first because he's 22 years old.
Agree.
And let that bat develop and be the next Albert Pujols.
I agree.
The
completely.
potential is there. I'm not saying it's what he will be because right now
It's not going to
doesn't
be
look
there in the
like that.
outfield. You're right about that.
Well, no, it's not going to be there in the outfield. But put him there and let him develop. Do what you did with Pujols, and put him there and let him develop and become everything offensively you need him to be. And he's big enough; he should be able to cover everything that Mason's gunning across the field from shortstop. I would also throw, after I trade Nolan Arenado, I would throw Nolan Gorman at third base because we know he's got the gun. He's a natural third baseman. Maybe he gets comfortable and he doesn't worry about his bat as much. And then we have one of the youngest and going to be error-prone infields for the first couple of years. But let those kids all grow up and develop together because they're all under 25, except for Donovan, who'd be playing second.
Tyler, you look like you have a thought there.
I mean, the way these guys talk about the Cardinals, I feel like they're the Colorado Rockies with some aging vets that they just tried to dump off. Like, you guys make them sound like they're pathetic.
They were pretty.
No, you're in a
pathetic.
rebuild. If you're going to
this bad
rebuild,
now?
you have to get out with the old and in with the
They're-
new.
My
83 and
They're gonna
7.
go real faster than the Rockies, but they're at a stage where they're not good. They're pathetic.
I don't even necessarily think they should trade him, but I think that you should keep him at the position that you signed him at. And I don't agree with Josh in the part where he says that it's Yachty's fault, actually, just because I think Yachty
You guys can never
Fine.
agree on Yachty.
endorsed on.
I would say for
I
once,
think
he's in
I
the
think
group.
Yachty endorsed him because Yachty was just saying
Are they
knew
from the
that,
same
like,
country?
that the
No, but they're buddies.
Venezuela and Puerto Rico, but Yachty knew that the Cardinals fans were
Sorry, I
never
think
going to
it was
accept
too many
another
words.
catcher other than Yachty or Molina, and so it's just so stupid
No. We all expected Herrera to come up right behind Yachty. That's what everybody expected.
Did we?
I mean,
I don't think so. I think
that's
but
what I was led to believe.
It's just so
He was the
dumb.
replacement.
It's just
Logan, I'm just stunned. You think it's so dumb that they move him to DH? Like that to me is like, or change
He
position.
thinks he's a good catcher.
Don't they have more value? Doesn't he have more value as a catcher? I see Logan's point. Like if he does stay healthy, a hitter who plays catcher,
He's only going to get more worn down though.
If he wasn't, this is my thing though.
But if you're hitting as a catcher, more value.
You signed him as a catcher. That it doesn't matter if he is a catcher or not.
So you're saying they messed up? Do you think this is them saying they messed up? Is this them saying they messed up?
I don't.
Yes.
I think this is them just saying, "Oh, we're just gonna throw anything at the wall and see what sticks." And I don't like Herrera. I mean, if you thought Herrera was gonna be ready last year, why did you spend $20 million? I'm saying that if you had to look at the whole field and you said, we have Herrera coming up, and we really want to use him next year. But we should sign a temporary guy. I know. Let's sign Wilson Contreras to a 10-year or 5-year deal at catcher, and then screw him over next year. It's like it doesn't make sense to me. When you could have just signed an outfielder and then a temporary catcher, it just doesn't make sense to me. And then this just goes into this whole thing where they're like, "Well, we didn't have a plan, so we're gonna train him." And then guess what? He's not gonna be great at first base, and then. What are we going to do? We're going to hear all about how Ollie Marmol is going to bench him and be like, "Oh, well,
he's going to be an
he's not a natural first base. He's not a natural first baseman." So we pulled him out, and we pulled him out in the 5th inning, but we felt like we had a better chance of winning if we got a natural first baseman out there. And then you're going to waste that. You're going to waste him anyways. And
He's
so
DH,
yeah, that's good. But I mean, if you have him DHing while Pedro Pajes is catching with his noodle arm, and he's
Herrera,
358.
Logan, they've already said Herrera is going to be the starter.
But I want to
hear.
Pajes
is coming off the bench.
I want to hear
Pajes
already how it's been
suck
set
my
up.
balls. I hate
Okay.
Pajes. If you're watching
We got
Pedro
monkey
Pajes,
balls and
Logan
some
Paul in Venezuela.
Okay,
I mean, good lord.
You should play with all the balls.
monkey balls.
I have dry balls.
We got all. We got. I will get more into Contreras as you guys kind of make your moves on him there. We'll try to dive in there. I just thought it was an interesting conversation because it was kind of an interesting movement. You guys, like I said, Josh, you guys are like the Cardinals Nation. I feel like is obsessed with that position a little bit because of the catchers you've had and how much you guys can just rely on these kind of positions to carry you in certain areas, and they're good defensively and all that good stuff. So, and they get clutch hits. So it'll be interesting where Paz shows up and Contreras. In the order, I'll be curious what the order. You guys are one of the intriguing marks in terms of where will Contreras be at opening day. Like that will be. I still think there's a world he gets traded, but we'll see. I don't think they will, but I think there's still a world there.
So hold on, let's
before I get
to
Cardinals
up with
Cardinals fan.
Yeah,
Contreras has a no trade, or he's got some kind of a trade limitation.
He does.
So he's already told them that he wants to be in St. Louis, which means he's not going anywhere. Which means they have to find a place to play because they don't like him behind the plate. It just is what it is.
Was it a 4-year
Sonny
deal?
Gray.
Was it 4 years?
3 years left. 3 years left.
So 4-year deal.
Sonny Gray. They've approached him. He does not want to leave St. Louis either. Sonny Gray will be our opening day starter. Nolan Arenado wants out. He wants to go compete for a championship. That news broke today as well. So there's going to be lots of changes for the Cardinals. We don't know what's going on. Chaim Bloom is working the minor league system and changing our whole development program. They're hiring 10 new coordinators for hitting and pitching, and they're going to get a pitching lab and a hitting lab developed now. So, and this is Mo's last year with the front office. So really Chaim's calling the shots. So we're going to see him setting up to clear house to bring in all kids. Is what it sounds like to me listening to local sports talk radio.
T, the final thought there.
I just heard the Dodgers got a new third baseman in Nolan Arenado.
You were not, and then you have a possibly getting Soto too. So,
everybody
to the Dodgers. We're back. We got trade. We're gonna get every human being every on earth there. All right, hey, diamond notes there. Let's get to the bonanza part here. What's the first big free agency signing that you can remember in your life? So, like, it doesn't have to be your team. Just like for me, it's immediately A-Rod. I'm just like, I just remember who was it? The guy? It's God, whoever did the NFL Live for a while after that. He comes on and he's just like, "Hey, signed at 252 million." I was like, "What?" I was like, "A 10-year, like that just blew my mind back then." I was like, "10-year, 252 to the Rangers? Are you out of your mind?" That's the one to me where I just, I don't know. That was the first one where it caught my attention. And maybe there's probably ones earlier too, but that's just always the one I think of with it. Logan, you got one you think of?
I mean, yeah, A-Rod, Teixeira. The one from my team, I remember the biggest one was Lance Berkman. I don't know why that's the biggest one I can think of, right? Like from my earliest memory.
Yeah, it could just be your first one that comes to mind. Yeah.
Yeah, that
was it when he went from
one.
Astros to Cardinals? Is that the one you're talking about there?
Or was it he had a team before, right? He got
went
traded at the deadline, I thought.
He was
Rangers?
Astros. I think he went to the Rangers.
Yankees. It was the Yankees.
I forgot about him on the Yankees.
Anyways, so trivia right there. No, but yeah, that was a big one. Just because I remembered the rivalry of Lance Berkman. I mean, just being a Cardinal killer and always walking, and I always liked him, and I never thought he was going to sign with the Cardinals. I thought he was going to be a lifer with the Astros, and then my dad was like, "Yeah, we signed Lance Berkman." I was like, "Who?" And I was like, "Is it some minor league guy? Is it some pitcher?" And no, he's like, "No, it's the Big Puma." And I'm like, "Oh,
the Big Puma." That was his name too, the Big Puma. I forgot.
Every time I say it, I'm like, "That's not his name, is it?"
The other one too is a random one too. Is 96. It was when Roger Clemens went to the Blue Jays. Just kind of a random sign. Yeah, that was one that also I remember him like. I was like, why the hell? He's in blonde hair and he's with the Blue Jays now. Like that was always like a random one, Tyler, to me that stuck out.
Like Scott Peterson going down south.
Oh, dang! We just got throw out the Alcatraz. What do you think? What do you got, Tyler, for biggest free agent?
My two are like A-Rod's definitely up there. Like Griffey going to Cincinnati. I remember the Sports Illustrated cover.
That was such a random one.
I was like, Cincinnati? They haven't been good in like.
Come back to Cincinnati.
Yeah, that line lives in infamy. And then the other one is Manny Ramirez. Manny Ramirez leaving Cleveland, going to Boston. I remember there was like this ESPN story like in the morning that was like E60 before E60. It was like on his whole deal. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And he went to Boston. And that's before Boston was really any good. Like they just lost Clemens.
I don't know if you've watched any of that comeback movie I mentioned, like with the Red Sox when they came back to beat the Yankees in 2004. But like it was really fascinating, the trades that I kind of remember it, McGurk, but I kind of forgot some of the details of like it was like Ramirez and I think it was Ramirez and Lester that was going to go to Texas, and it was going to I forget who was coming back to the
Juan Gonzalez.
No, it wasn't Big Wad, but it was past one. It was A-Rod. That's who it was coming to the Red Sox. So it's just funny looking back at like what if. I always think it'd be fun to see like if you could look at history of like what GMs called this about a player. You'd be like, oh my God, they tried to. Yeah, it'd just be crazy to think about how much these guys are actually at least discussed. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Edwards, your thought here, biggest free agency signing you can remember.
So not to like go on you and hurt your feelings, but I'd have to say it'd be like when Giambi left.
Oh, the Yankees.
Like that
was a big one
for me. My first understanding and realization of what free agency was when the A's tore down the team.
That was we went Moneyball after that, but yes,
that was my first understanding of.
You never
big free agency moves.
First base is easy. No, I was kidding. No, you got no, you're right.
Yeah, Ron Washington's going to train Wilson Contreras.
He's supposed to be a catcher like Wilson Contreras. You can't move him to first base.
Edwards, I'm going to give you that one because my team. I was 17 years old when that happened. That was my favorite team. I do remember that was a bad fit. And then at that point, I realized the A's are just never going to. And then Tejada went a few years. Was it the Orioles, I believe, in 2004? Yeah. So, like, I was at that point, I was accustomed to be getting screwed. So, like, I totally – but you're right. That is actually a good call to Giambi one there. All right. Who is the most famous baseball player you've ever gotten an autograph from? Anybody got one there?
Mine's not good.
Oh.
I've only got
Angel Pagan.
No, it's worse. You guys won't even know who he is. Chuck Carr
never-
from the Florida Marlins.
Your dad doesn't have a. You don't have a Joe Montana somewhere in that back. You don't have anything.
I didn't get the autograph. That was
All right.
bought.
Joe Montana's football, not baseball.
All right.
Yeah.
That's still a autograph. So Chuck Carr, famous Florida Marlin. I remember.
I was
that.
at 3Com Park.
The 3Com bar there. Logan, you got one?
Did he spell it with 3 R's? No. I don't have an autograph story, but I do have like the sad Gerald Laird story of me being in Houston, and we were trying to get Albert Pujols' autograph, and like all the players. It was at the end of the game, and we're at the dugout, and everyone left, and Gerald Laird is like, I'll sign a ball, and like nobody wants to give him a ball. I felt so bad. I was like, I want to give him my glove so bad, but I also don't want to have to clean it later.
Hey, you keep the glove, Gerald.
Yeah.
Do you have an autograph of anybody though that you gotten? Is it just random players in the bullpen that you
I mean, my dad and I, my dad has he's got Babe Ruth. He's got a Sam Musial, Bob Gibson.
Sam Musial.
Yeah, my great grandpa went to get the Babe Ruth one.
But
he's got
you don't have one.
Cardinals. No, but I mean, I will have it. I mean, if you give me a minute,
but you didn't.
My dad, and then it will be mine.
It'll be yours. I wasn't going there with the show, but all right, we upped it up a different level. Father Logan there. We had Edwards, you got one?
So I actually have quite a few from going to all the games when I was a kid, but they're all smaller guys. Like I got Alan Bettis.
Oh, Alan, yeah, Andy's.
I got
Logan.
Do you remember Kyle McClure? He was a pitcher for the Cardinals.
Kind of.
Or McLaren, or however you say his last name.
Kyle McLennan.
Tyler.
Kyle McLennan.
Yeah, there you go, McLennan. That's
McClellan.
I have his autograph.
I like him.
He's not famous. Sorry.
No, he's not. But he knows what I'm talking about. And I've got some other guys who came up.
The Rangers now.
Well, who's the most famous you got? If you're putting money on the line, Edwards, who you got?
Bettis is the most famous one I have.
All right, Chuck's your guy there. Oral Hershiser for me is randomly what I got. Oral is the one.
Oral.
My aunt works for him, or worked for him.
For Oral.
Yeah.
Tyler, you hold that comment in.
She was
hold that hold that comment in.
Good lady. You keep that.
I'm sure you're.
No. Bad. Bad, Tyler.
Why don't we move off a little Oral and we'll go to who's the most underrated MLB legend? Is it Oral? No. Okay. Who is the most underrated MLB legend? When you think of one, I'm gonna give you guys a little love with the Stan the Man. I do think he gets a little lost with some of his stats.
He gets shafted all the time, man.
So when he was alive, I would have agreed with you. Like bar none, there's no one more underrated. But after he died, he got a lot of recognition from everyone. Like I hear everyone talk about how great he is and how he's one of the best players ever. So I actually don't think he's as underrated as he used to be. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But
can I also throw out my other name I have for it is it's Alfonso Soriano. I know he's probably never going to make the Hall of Fame, but like I always feel like 412 homers. Like there's nothing like he's a legit MLB hitter. Like he did have some bad years there where he struck out a ton.
I thought you were joking about that. You said
no. I'm just saying MLB.
Like, he's a great player. I'll give you that.
No, I think he's right there. But I mean, if you look at the list, he's top 50 in home runs. So he's not like a bum by any regard. And then the other one to me that I was going to say that's kind of a little underrated, and he's not in the Hall of Fame either, but I do really think he should be in, is Carlos Delgado. So those are two guys that kind of stick out to me that are like they're with it. So I don't know. Those are a couple guys with it, but so Stan Man is obviously
player real quick.
Yeah, who do you got? Tyler?
Who's a better all-time player real quick? Jeff Kent or Alfonso Soriano? Without looking at numbers.
I would probably my hunch would probably think Soriano
It's pretty close. I don't think you're wrong either way.
because they both weren't known for their defense either.
No, not at all.
Soriano
And
sucked.
Alfonso is known
I
for
would lean
atrocious
Soriano.
defense, but
But
Kent was pretty
good.
clutch though. Kent was MVP.
Kent was
I mean, it's
awesome.
hard to. It
Yeah.
doesn't hurt when you have Bonds betting in front of you. But there is that part. But
Who's gonna
Soriano
say,
didn't have
who's
bums
Jeff
either.
Kent?
He's there with it. So those are just a couple names. I mean, they're not necessarily like ultimate legends that are underrated, but that was kind of how I kind of looked at it. I mean, if I was looking Hall of Famer, Eddie Murray always kind of stands out to me as like a switch hitter. That was back in the day. I'm like, I don't know. Tyler Edwards, you guys got any final ones there at that one?
I mean, I went Barry Larkin real quick just off the top.
Yeah, that's a good call.
A player who doesn't get recognized enough for how good he was Barry Larkin.
It was funny. Casey brought
Hall
up
of Fame, like he gets that, but like no one talks about him as like a top. Like if you ask who's the best shortstop,
Yeah.
Yeah,
My brother randomly brought him up the other day when we were doing a conversation where he's like, have you ever looked at 1995's MVP standings? He's like, Larkin won it. He got first place with 15 home runs and like 62 RBIs. He had like 50 stolen bases or something too. But like Bichette in like Colorado days, I think he had like 48 homers and like 100 and like 147 RBI. I was like, yeah. So it's just kind of a funny disparity in terms of like, here's a guy that won with 15 home runs and 60 RBIs, and this guy with like almost 50 to 150. And he didn't win it, but yeah, that's kind of funny. But Josh, any final ones there before I get to trivia here?
Well, I mean, you took the one I had right off the bat. Larkin was another good one. What about
Jim Edmonds?
Chuck Knobloch?
He hit Keith Olbermann's mother. Where we like, right in the face.
You got the yips.
You got the yips. Whoa! That's why we got to get the net up for Knobloch out there. We got to get the net up for big good old Chuck out there. How if you're second base, you throw to the
I got a better one. Wade Boggs.
That's a good call. I like Wade. I like that. Saw him on Cheers the other day when I was watching an old show. That's a good call.
I got one.
One of the best shows ever.
What do you got, Logan?
Mine is Joe Torre. Joe Torre, the player.
MVP.
And,
Not the Braves.
You
Third base
guys
and
are
catcher.
obsessed with catchers.
You guys are obsessed with catchers.
He's the greatest. No.
the best with it. All right, so that was some fun bonanza there. All right, MLB trivia here with it. Trivia with it. All right, trivia number one here with it. Hint number one, I played for 14 seasons from 2008 to 2021. I was a two-time All-Star in the NL. In 2011 and 2012 are the years I made the All-Star team. I finished with 153 career home runs. Logan, Josh, thinking about that for a second. Tyler, you guys got any rare guesses with that one there? You guys got one?
Skip Schumacher.
You got it. No, it's not Skip. It's not.
I'll go with the homer guess and go
153 career home
runs. Who do you got, Logan?
I
just want to throw a name out.
2011 and 12. Who's Emilio Pagan?
No. It is not Emilio. It is not Emilio. Second hint here, Tyler. Yeah. I was seventh in NL MVP voting in 2009. I started my rookie year as a catcher. So McGurk, hold out. Let's see if Logan can get it right here. Logan, you got to take a guess here with it. Josh, I think Tyler knows who it is, so I'm going to let him hold out with it. Who do you think?
Ahead. No.
Hold up. No, Josh is pointing at me. I can't tell. He's got a thought. I can't see what it is. Tyler did say it, but maybe you guys didn't hear it. So
I get it right?
Say nothing.
Tyler, you can't get it, Edwards? You don't know who
I was just going to say it was his catcher.
No, who is it? He started as a catcher in 2000. He was there in 2008. That's when he played. He was a catcher.
Buster Posey.
No, it is not Buster Posey.
No.
It was not Buster.
I don't know when he started, but I'm thinking,
Posey started in 2010.
Yeah,
so that was you're off. You're close. You're close. All right, this one might help a little bit. Or Logan, you got a hit. You got a guess for me.
No. Go ahead.
I was a 3-time World Series winner, and I have won a World Series MVP. I also have played with Boston and Atlanta. Those are also the teams I decided to play.
Buster Posey totally falls into that, except for maybe the home runs.
And he definitely didn't play for Boston and Atlanta, so it's not him.
What was the hint number two? Can you go to hint number two real quick?
I was 7th in NL MVP voting in 2009. I started my rookie year as a catcher. So you know who it is. Who do you got for it? Edwards. I mentioned this team a lot. I thought they might do a little bit in free agency. This is a team that he killed in the World Series. He killed him in the World Series. I will mention to help you, Edwards. He did have 3 home runs in the World Series game.
This World Series?
Nope, 2010.
Oh, yeah, he
2012.
2012.
2012.
I got it.
It is.
I know it.
You're Mr. Pablo Sandoval.
Oh,
he is on the
shit.
list. He is on it
I'm
with
stupid.
it.
I should have gotten that number 1.
3
He
home
started as a
runs.
catcher?
Yes,
I got
he
it
did.
on number 1.
He
Yeah.
started as a catcher.
He helped me
right?
win a fantasy league as a catcher.
I knew it was a
best-
giant. I just
One of the
couldn't
best
remember.
postseasons. He had 6 homers and 12 RBIs that postseason in 2012. 6
He only-
homers, 12 RBIs, won the MVP in the World Series. Hit
Okay.
3 in this game in Game 1. Still one of the more.
I was like,
Remember, it was like Verlander versus the Giants. Well, they're going to dominate, and then
Zito for Zito.
it's just random. He comes out and hits 3 bombs, and the legend of the panda grows at this point, right there. At that point, so
Zito's
Pablo-
second best pitch game as a Giant.
over there, yes, the Giants. They get it number 1. So Pablo
Hey.
was the answer today. Pablo was the answer. in
He only
terms of
was an all-star twice.
he became a lot of fans over here had issues with some of his eating. They had a lot of issues with some of his eating habits. And
A lot of-
Well, he's a fatty.
Tyler, that was a big issue with it.
Not
Who was
nearly as
that
bad as
part?
Pedro Pajes.
Pedro Paez. Pedro. How dare you say that about good old Pedro? Pedro was one
you
of
could
the
have Kurt Casale. He's available.
Sally.
Kurt and Sally, one of the best in the business. Good old Kurt with it.
Pathetic.
Who was he? Who was the random catcher you guys had? Eli something for a little bit, right, Tyler? Was it Eli?
Eli
something?
Sheila Marrero.
The gray-haired
No,
gray-haired
For the
stat.
Giants.
Oh God, he was terrible on that too. So that's a trivia there. Pablo makes the list. World Series there a little bit here at that. All right, I want to get to one more flashback here. We'll call it a show.
What a ride! The Cardinals are world champs in 2011.
It's not going to be next year, everybody, as we talked about this year. We got Mr. Pond. Mr. Pond's at catcher position. All right. I was 9 years old. Everybody's seen this highlight, but this one always will stick out to me the most. Is one of the greatest World Series moments you could ever see live. Mr. Joe Carter versus Mitch, the you know what. He gets the job done. He came in. I go, how can you have somebody named Wild Thing or whatever he is as your closer? Right? That does not sound like a good combination at any time. There's Joe Carter. You've all seen it many times. Joe Carter with one of the best home runs you could ever have in baseball.
Here's the pitch on the way. A swing and a belt. Left field. Way back. Blue Jays win it. The Blue Jays are World Series champions as Joe Carter hits a 3-run home run in the 9th inning, and the Blue Jays have repeated as World Series champions. Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
I got to say,
That's
that is
such a
what
famous call, too.
it's such a good call in the moment. Like,
Yeah.
in the moment, like that is like what it is. You will never hit a bigger, like that is what it is. You will never hit a bigger home run in your life. Again, Tyler, you've been, you know, where my grandma's papa's house, that little TV in that my grandmother's room. That's where I saw it at. We were there. I was like, at 9 years old, hard to think about it, but that's where I was seeing it. It's just,
Was
it's
that,
one I'll never forget. It's
that was the second World Series, right? Or was that
Yeah,
the
it was
first?
the back-to-back win.
Yep, they won in '92. They beat the
Yeah, but was that the
Braves.
second? Was
Yeah,
that okay? So the
beat the
second one
Braves,
was
right?
against the Reds, right?
No, they beat the Braves in '92, and then they beat the Phillies in '93.
Oh, Phillies. Yeah.
So that was Mitch Williams there with the Phillies. Tyler
Yeah.
got booted there, but Tyler, appreciate you joining on with it. Got the trivia question right. You should have. It's a Giants player, so we got it done there. He got it done. So we'll keep mixing it up. But
I can't believe I didn't get that one right.
he got it on the
first.
first. But thankfully, you guys didn't hear it, so I was able to keep the show going at that point. I was able to keep it moving at the with it. So hey,
Totally missed it.
Edwards, I did all right tonight. Did I go anywhere wrong, or did I survive? Did I do okay? Did I mention a
You
Rick
only messed
Contreras?
up because you didn't let me mention my robbed Gold Glover. But
Who's your Rob
Yeah.
Gold? Let's get it out of here. Who you got? Tell me who you got.
Mason Wynn, Rob,
There.
shortstop, St. Louis Cardinals in the National League.
You're not a big fan of
You know
Tovar,
what? This is what I think.
actually- I
know where
like
you went
Tovar.
wrong tonight, Darren. You
Yeah.
went wrong by mentioning the Gold Gloves at all because everyone knows that the Gold Gloves are just a big old poop fest.
There is
No one
a
cares.
little bit of that. I
It's
agree.
rigged. No one cares. It's made by people who don't know anything about baseball. Defensive metrics are dog crap.
It's an interesting. It's a weird one. That's why I think fans were so frustrated with like Lindor. They see that, right? They're like, oh, so it's weird because a lot of these people aren't watching every team all the time. Like you're usually in baseball, you're usually watching like all your team, and you're watching like some of the little plays that separate what you see as defensive player of the year. So it's part of it. Tyler said his Wi-Fi went out. Tyler, appreciate you jumping on as you always do on the show. It's always fun when I get you and Logan on along with Josh. So. Guys, good show tonight as well. Good show. Logan, glad you could jump back on. It's off season. It's your Christmas. You better be on with us a few more times here as we go through the off season.
He's contractually obligated.
Contract. I know Tyler said he's kind of fired up for it too. And as we get closer to December, we know these signings are going to get, when we hit the winter meetings, we hit this. We're not going to just get our Kyle Hendricks signings and our select. We're going to get some big boys here. Michael Walker re-signed. So we're going to get some of the re-signings here, but it's going to get fun here in a little bit.
Schilt got re-signed for a 2-year extension with the Padres.
That was a big deal as well. I think that was a good move from the Pods. Obviously, you guys know him well out there in St. Louis. So just to give you guys a little programming note, I don't know where me and Edward stand the next few Thursdays. I might go next Thursday, and if he's up to it, he can. But it might be some shifting here. We'll see how all of us are with our personal why here with it, all that stuff. We're going to do it. No, I just think we'll see where it's at. We'll see what the free agency news looks like. It might not
depend on the news cycle.
So we might be with you next Thursday as well, depending on what happens with it. If not, we won't be with you Thursday on Thanksgiving. I do know that. We won't be with you there. So we won't there.
Come on.
Logan, are you joining us on Thanksgiving?
I'll be
cooking. I don't think anybody
we're
wants
going
to
on Thanksgiving.
All right, tradition like that.
What else are we supposed to be thankful for?
Hey, Ma, turkey. Let's go, right?
Hey, Ma, get this turkey right here at the strike zone.
I'm talking Pete Alonso and that right now. You got to bring me the turkey and the stuffing. Let's go. That's what we're about right now.
Make me a sandwich. I don't know how we turned Italian.
We turned Italian. That's because I think of Will Ferrell with it. Mom, meet them. We always got there with it. So, hey, we'll keep it going. Plan for us. You'll see us on Thursdays. Let's put it that way. And we'll probably, if we're not with you next week, we'll be with the week after that. We'll see what the baseball offseason has with it. Logan Stone, do appreciate you joining, though, with it. I always like talking a little baseball. Tyler McGurk, appreciate that as always. Josh Edwards, one of the best in the business here as the co-host. Seventh inning stretch. Hope to get Brandon back next week as well, if we're there with you. Variety Sports Network, please like and subscribe there. We're trying to get to 700 by the end of the year. So, for Logan Stone, Josh Edwards, I'm Darren Breyer, seventh inning stretch. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.